Welcome to the channel, Buzz Technology.
New Apple iPhone 2018.
Apple announced 3 iPhones last year in the form of the iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus and the iPhone X. The iPhone 8 and 8 Plus followed the traditional iPhone design, while the iPhone X shook things up a little. So will we see an iPhone 9 and 9 Plus, as well as a successor to the iPhone X called the iPhone 11? Or will the iPhone home button well and truly die and the iPhone X design take over for all 2018 models? That's likely, but not a foregone conclusion. Naturally, speculation will continue right up until the new devices launch. Here's everything we've heard about this year's iPhone.
Release date.
We might see a successor to the iPhone SE, the smaller iPhone, in March 2018, but we won't see the iPhone 9 or a successor to the iPhone X until September 2018. Traditionally, Apple has held its September events within the first couple of weeks of the month and usually on a Tuesday, with pre-orders for the devices they announce starting on the Friday of the same week. The iPhone X was an exception to that pattern, with pre-orders not starting for 6 weeks after, in late October. It will be a good few months before any event rumors appear though, with nothing likely to surface until August 2018 at the earliest. If we had to place our bets now, we'd guess around the 11th of September 2018, give or take a week. It would be a good time to pencil in the diary if you want to watch Tim Cook and his bodies on stage.
Apple iPhone 11 or X2 or X Plus?
What will Apple call its iPhone 2018 models? Well, isn't that the million-dollar question? The answer to which only a very select few in the Cupertino company probably know. We might see an iPhone 9 and iPhone 9 Plus, or we might see Apple skip 9 altogether. There has been a prediction that we will see a larger iPhone X appear with a 6.5-inch-old display, alongside another 5.8-inch-old model and a separate 6.1-inch device with an LCD display. Perhaps this will mean that the new iPhones will predominantly continue with the X name, resulting in the iPhone 11 or iPhone X2 and iPhone X Plus for the old models, with the standard iPhone 9 naming reserved for the LCD model. As we said though,
Design.
Apple made some big design changes to the iPhone. With the iPhone X, it moved away from what has defined the iPhone for the last decade by removing the Touch ID home button on the front and replacing it with a notch at the top of the display, housing a new technology called Face ID. The iPhone X isn't to everyone's taste though, and many don't like change, which is probably one of the reasons why the company chose to release the more traditional iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus models alongside it. Don't count on the same strategy for next year though. By September 2018, those who weren't initially sold on the iPhone X's design will have had 12 months to get used to it, and given Tim Cook said the iPhone X lays the foundations for the next 10 years of the iPhone, we wouldn't be surprised to see all the 2018 models feature the new design. Ming-Chi Kuo, the Chi Securities analyst who loves to share his Apple predictions, believes there will be 2 old iPhone models next year, both of which will retain the stainless steel frame, but offer improvements for cellular and Wi-Fi transmissions. He also claims there will be a 3rd model that will have an LCD display, as we mentioned briefly above, suggesting this will be a cheaper option. Kuo does predict all 3 models will lose Touch ID in favor of Face ID however, which makes sense. We aren't convinced about Apple retaining stainless steel though. In fact, while ditching the old design entirely is a perfectly plausible move, the $1,000 starting price of the iPhone X is steep, and a switch to aluminum would presumably help reduce this. So for now, we're placing our bets on at least one aluminum frame, if not all.
Display.
Apple made a move to old with the iPhone X, so it comes as no surprise that the company is predicted to continue to offer old options in 2018. According to Minkai Kuo, there will be a 6.5-inch old model, a 5.8-inch old model, and a 6.1-inch LCD model. The analyst shared an infographic that suggests the 6.1-inch LCD model will offer a footprint between the current iPhone 8 and iPhone 8 Plus despite the larger screen, which would be possible should it adopt the 18:9 aspect ratio the iPhone X offers. Kuo also predicted the 6.5-inch model would offer a pixel density of between 480 and 500p. The 5.8-inch will offer 458p, which is the same as the current iPhone X, and the 6.1-inch model would have between 320 and 330 pixels per inch. If this is the case, none of the 2018 models will offer a Quad HD resolution like the likes of Samsung's Galaxy S8 or LG's V30. It's all predictions and guesswork for now though, so if you're all about the pixels, don't be too disheartened just yet. Aside from pixels and size, we'd expect to see a continuation of 3D Touch on all models, the P3 wide color gamut and Apple's True Tone technology on some, if not all 2018 models.
Cameras.
The Apple iPhone X features a dual rear camera, as does the iPhone 8, so we wouldn't be surprised to see dual rear cameras on all the 2018 iPhone models. It could be that the predicted 6.1-inch LCD model features a singular rear camera, like the standard iPhone 8, but as this 6.1-inch model is suggested to offer a footprint around the same as the iPhone 8 Plus, a dual camera would presumably fit, so why not offer it? There haven't been any rumors or speculation surrounding the cameras on the 2018 iPhone models as yet, but expect improvements over this year's models, as is always the way with succeeding devices. It's also worth expecting some, if not all, models that launch next year to offer the true depth front camera for Face ID and those fun, even if a little gimmicky.
Hardware.
All the 2017 Apple iPhone models featured the same A11 Bionic chip with 64-bit architecture, an Neural engine and an embedded M11 Motion coprocessor. A new year brings a new chip, always. That means we are likely to see either an A11X processor in the 2018 iPhone models, or an A12 chip, depending on what Apple chooses to call it. Either way, it will no doubt offer performance improvements and possibly battery improvements if you're lucky. None of the 2018 models are likely to feature microSD for storage expansion, as Apple devices never have done, and they aren't likely to resurrect the 3.5mm headphone jack either, so expect the Lightning port only for both charging and listening to music. Current storage options for the iPhone 8, 8 Plus and iPhone X are 64GB and 256GB, so we'd guess the same will apply for any 2018 models, unless Apple opts to start options at 128GB. We certainly don't expect lower than 64GB. It's also been predicted that all the iPhone 2018 models will support gigabit LTE data transmission speeds and 4x4 MIMO standards, something the Sony Xperia XZ Premium and the Samsung Galaxy S8 already support. If true, Expect faster speeds and the potential of improved coverage in low-coverage areas. A new report from South Korea's ET News, for instance, has claimed Apple's future iPhones will have a smaller notch, certainly from 2019. Oddly, this isn't the first time we've heard news about not this year's iPhone but next year's model. Bloomberg has already said Apple is developing a 3D sensor for the back of the 2019 iPhone. And, according to G Securities analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, the new iPhone flagship will have a 2-cell battery leading to increase the battery life by around 25%, 3,300-3,400 mAh. If this is an iPhone X Plus as is rumored, with the 6.5-inch display mentioned above, then there would be only minor upgrades over last year's iPhone X.
Software.
The software is about the only thing and we can be certain about when it comes to next year's iPhones, unless Apple decides to dramatically change its strategy over the next couple of months. We might not know what features will appear yet, but we do know that the 2018 iPhones are very likely to launch on iOS 12, which we will get a preview of at the Apple Worldwide Developer Conference in June 2018.
Conclusion.
We won't know any concrete details on the 2018 iPhone, or iPhones, until they officially launch because while there are plenty of leaks and speculation regarding Apple devices in the run-up to their launch, Apple is better than some companies at keeping final press renders under wraps until their announcement. With that in mind, you will need to keep your expectations under control when reading about the rumors, as more often than not, they turn out to be the stuff of dreams rather than reality. There is no harm in finding out what might be though, so keep checking back as we will update this feature whenever anything new is churned out from the rumor mill.